I'm Chrissy. What you're about to see, I fully consent for my wife to talk about her side of the story and for all the footage that's going to be shown. I'm not going to watch it right now, I'll watch it when I'm ready, but I think it's important to help other people who may be going through addiction to see what their families go through as well.
I almost lost Chrissy this week. Chrissy overdosed this week on alcohol. And if that wasn't hard enough, 5 years ago, I told her if she ever drank alcohol again, I would leave her. Some of you may say, this is not about you. This is clearly about your partner who's struggling and has an addiction and who has demons. And I would say, yes, it has a lot to do with my partner who has an addiction, who has demons. But I would also say that I need to take care of myself. And I have not been taking care of myself. I've been really prioritizing taking care of Chrissy for the last however many years, being she went through a lawsuit, being that she's an addict. And I've prioritized her health. I have not prioritized my mental health. I have just really put my needs to the back burner, and I am changing that. A couple days ago, I went to go pick up Chrissy an anniversary present. Chrissy was doing a live stream.
Sweating it out.
Sexy. And she was having a really good time. We were getting along. There was nothing that was really bad in the last couple weeks that's been going on in our lives. Everything was kind of in sync, because this last year has been really difficult for Chrissy and I. And so I was feeling really positive and really uplifted about our relationship. We're planning to move to Washington. We're so excited about this big move. So I was completely blindsided. I leave for an hour and a half while Chrissy stays and does a live stream. And during that live stream, unbeknownst to me, she went and picked up a bottle of vodka. During the live stream at the end, she began to drink this bottle of vodka off screen and started to act strange and shut off the live stream. I came home about an hour later to find her acting really strange. She was conscious and awake and talking to me, but like slurring her words and her eyes looked glazed. And the first thing that came to me was she must have taken some pills. I had no idea. She didn't smell like weed. And to be honest, I checked her breath. She didn't smell like alcohol. But that was really kind of one of the last things on my mind. Like, she's been sober for 5 years. There's no way she's drinking. And I really want to kick myself for that, because I think you get in denial when you are with someone and you want to choose to believe them. And I trust Chrissy and I choose to believe her. There was just a lack of trust between the two of us, partially because of this, mostly because of this ultimatum I made on her 5 years ago. 5 years ago, Chrissy ended up in the hospital. Chrissy overdosed on alcohol 5 years ago and almost died. It is December 14th. 2013. We are here in the hospital. She was 3 times the lethal amount of alcohol in her bloodstream, and the doctors told me that she almost died. That was a brick wall she needed to hit, and she said she would never drink again. I was terrified. I told her if she ever drank again, I would leave her. I could not be with an alcoholic. I could not go through this situation again. Thinking your partner is going to die is so terrifying. I want you all to know that I have consent to play these videos from 2013 of Chrissy, to show these pictures of Chrissy and these pictures from this week of Chrissy. So if anybody says, how could you post those pictures, share those pictures, I want you all to know that I have consent to do so. For anybody wondering, I did film some of what happened Saturday evening, and I did it because in 2013, I had taken a clip of Chrissy when she was passed out, and she looked at that video the next day and said, I will never drink again. By looking at that video really triggered something for her. So in my mind, this last weekend, I said, okay, I'm gonna film this. I'm gonna show Chrissy at her worst to herself, and maybe this will save her life. After I noticed there was something going on with Chrissy, I called her mom and said, there's something wrong with Chrissy and I think I need to take her to the hospital. Chrissy and her mom talked, and her mom could tell something was up and said, maybe you should take her to the hospital. So I panicked and I went to the bedroom and I'm on the phone with Chrissy's mom and I'm like, this is what's going on. I don't know what to do. Where do I take her? And then I hear the front door close. I run out to the living room and I see Chrissy running by the window with a backpack. So I go running after her. She doesn't see me running after her. She runs down to the basement. She goes to the laundry room and I see her shuffling through her backpack and she pulls out a bottle of empty vodka in her hand, which I run over and I grab it from her. I notice that the entire bottle of vodka has been drinking. Chrissy goes running back upstairs to the house and she's on the floor and she's crawling and she's crying and she's screaming, and now the alcohol is starting to sink in. Chrissy drank 13 shots of vodka at 80% proof. I took that bottle and I started going to every grocery store, liquor store, anything that was within a mile of our house, trying to figure out where she could have gotten that bottle and if she had been drinking frequently before, because she was drunk, she wasn't gonna be able to answer my questions. And I found out where she got the bottle. About 20 minutes later, I went back home. Do you wanna die? Is this a suicide attempt? Like, do you want a divorce? Like,
was this an attempt on her life? How do you drink a whole thing of vodka?
I wanted to know why she wanted to hurt herself, why she wanted to do this. We need to take her to the hospital. That was the longest hospital drive. We ended up going to one hospital that wasn't an emergency hospital, and they said there was nothing they could do. And then we went to another hospital, and during the car ride, Chrissy was having a hard time breathing, and she was pretty unconscious. That was when I really got scared, like really panicked. Then, like, what happens if I don't make it to this hospital? Like, you always think worst case, you know? And I love this girl. I love this girl with all of my heart. Like, she's clearly in so much pain, you know? We get her in one of those chairs so we can roll her to the emergency room. And during the ride, I'm holding her head and I'm whispering, I love you so much. You're gonna be okay, everything's gonna be okay. But she's just like, she's out of it. I get her into the waiting room, and then she just like completely loses it. So they take her out of the waiting room to another room. And then they take her from that room to another room, which was her hospital room. And they check her heart rate. Her heart rate was about 140. They gave her fluids and they started injecting her with stuff. Like, there was cords and like, I don't really know. So the doctor comes in and he said, is a chance that she could have taken anything else? And I said, well, I do have Xanax. It's possible she could have taken my Xanax that I'm prescribed. And the doctor said, it is a deadly combination for her to take Xanax and alcohol, and I think you need to go home and check your Xanax. So I go check to see if she's taking a Xanax. She had not taken my Xanax, thankfully. I get back to the hospital, and it had taken me a while to get back to my house and back to the hospital. By the time I get back, I don't know, with the fluids or whatnot, she had woken up, and she looked at me and she's like, please don't divorce me, please don't divorce me. Like, she's still obviously intoxicated. Once I saw that she was okay, once I knew that she was going to survive this, that's when I sunk into my own survival mode. Like, okay, you got her here, she's safe. You know, you told her how much you loved her, and of course you care about her, of course you want what's best for her. But now you need to take care of you, and you need to take some time to step away and process what's going on. I packed my stuff and I left. I left the room. No one gets to tell you how to act or feel during a time of trauma. You can act and you can feel however you want in trauma, as long as you're not hurting yourself or hurting someone else, right? Like, you need to take care of yourself. And that's what I did. And maybe some people will give me a hard time. Maybe some people will disagree with how I handled the situation. I know I've been a really good partner to Chrissy, so whatever anybody says. So I left, and I was in the waiting room and processing everything, and Like, do I stay with this person? Do I stay with a person who's an alcoholic? Like, when is the breaking point, you know? Can we come back from this? When she got discharged, I was still in the waiting room. And I told her that I think it'd be best if she stayed at a friend's house. She was sad. She told me she loved me, and I told her I loved her so much. I started beating myself up, like, did I do the wrong thing? Did I do the right thing? I knew I did the right thing. If she had come back with me, I don't know how we would have come back from that. 2 days later, I told Chrissy to come home. I wanted to see her. And we talked, and we cried, and we hugged, and I told her that I married her 4 months ago, and I've been with her for 7 years, and that the vows said, in sickness and in health, and you're sick. And I'm gonna be there for you, and I love you. I started going to meetings called Al-Anon meetings. They're for people whose like friends, family, spouses are alcoholics. And it's really something for you to feel good about yourself. It's not really to like, it's not to take care of somebody else, to take care of you. And what I did learn is that you don't give ultimatums unless you're gonna stand by them. And that's something that's hard for you. Like, my ego, you know, you said you were gonna do something. And if you don't do something, how is anybody gonna have any respect for you? I told her if she drank again, I would leave her. And what does that say about me? But I love her, and I'm gonna fight with her, fight for her, and mostly I'm gonna fight for myself. Alcoholism is such a fucked up addiction. Because everywhere you go, everywhere you turn, it's alcohol. When you're happy, let's drink. When you're sad, let's drink. When you're depressed, let's drink. When you have a victory, let's drink. When you win, let's drink. Every occasion is a drink, and everywhere you go is a drink. Everywhere you look, every advertisement, it is everywhere. And I can't imagine what that's like for Chrissy, who has to look at that, see that, feel that constantly, and all she wants to do is get out of her mind. So I just want you to know that this is my side. This is not Chrissy's views. These are my views. I wanted to make this video. Chrissy gave me her blessings to talk about this. If anybody wants to like say this isn't your place to talk about what she went through, this is just my opinions. I love her. She is an extremely strong person, and I will continue to support her and love her no matter what, because I married her, and I'm madly in love with her, and I want her to be happy. And I hope that she can love herself as much as I love her.